How's it going, BTG Nation? I hope your day is treating you well. And in this video, we're going to go over the journey so far that is Burn the Gallows, get you up to speed. Now, roll that intro. Now, to bring you up to speed, we're first going to jump into some of our first songs and our first really work with any type of engineer or producer. Now, at the time, in about 2008, 2007, there's only one place for metal in Utah that you can go to actually get yourself recorded. That was Bruce with Bohu Digitalia. Now, the thing is with Bruce, he's definitely a good engineer. He can capture you exactly the way you are. Problem is if you suck, he captures that. And a lot of us kind of suck when we first start. Just the way the game goes. Now, at this time, we were kind of writing in odd time signatures, writing really long songs. Most of them lasted over 4, sometimes 5 minutes. Usually we were considered to be more heavy metal or even close to death metal back in these days. Now, I'm not going to show you any of these songs, but just know that 1 or 2 of them did end up getting further on in some of our later albums and works. These were also written before Aaron and Lars joined the band. And then our next works, as we continue to write and record with all the 5 that you kind of know, David, Aaron, Lars, Andres, and myself, is we actually got the opportunity to work with someone named Matt Winegar. And the thing with Matt Winegar, he's actually kind of well known. He's worked with some relatively large, popular bands. He worked with Simple Plan, Chelsea Grin, and even Primus. Now, when we were working with him, we actually had the opportunity to go to his studio, which was really nice. Had big open spaces. We can get really great sounds out of there. However, at the time, we were also still kind of not really into our groove, especially together as a band. And during this time, we had written probably our most popular song at the time, especially leading up until we actually released Promises. Promises was Infinity. And we actually ended up shooting a full music video for that. And the EP that had Infinity on it ended up really kind of shaping what we were to become. And then this is where Burn the Gallows really started to make some headway. We had heard from other local bands that there was a new producer coming back to Utah, and he had just finished his internship with David Bendith. And if you don't know who David Bendith is, he's a really, really well-known producer. So this person we got to work with, his name's Stetson Whitworth. And it was really a lucky opportunity for us. We were one of the very first bands to work with him when he came back off this internship. And I'm pretty sure all the members of BTG would definitely say that Stetson was a huge break for us as musicians. And also, kind of a little known fact about the album Promises is that most of the songs were written in the studio. For what we did there is we did bring a few old songs. There's only kind of really one song that made it through multiple revisions. And the thing is with Stetson, he kind of really opened our eyes in terms of the writing process, the recording process, really kind of lit a fire underneath us to get going in terms of music, and allowed us to really grow substantially as musicians. And with the music that he helped us create, we definitely wanted to start pushing it, so we started pushing a lot more shows. We did a lot of tours. We ended up doing a lot of tours around the state Utah. We ended up going to Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Idaho. Met some great people along the way. A lot of great people. We'll get to them later in the video. We ended up choosing 3 songs off the album to really push. We chose these 3 to be the ones to get the lyric videos. It was Set Me Free, Follow Your Heart, and Speak of Glory. And a lot of you may end up joining us on our journey at this time, because this is when we pushed the most. And honestly, this album was a pretty good success for us. There were some dark times that we struggled through that we kept rather quiet about. In the fall of 2011, we were approached initially with what we thought was a legitimate management company. We ended up going to Denver to visit the founder to kind of work out the contract, see if it's going to work for us. And little did we know at the time that we were going to be completely frauded. We ended up paying him a couple grand up front. And in hindsight, clearly this was not going to end well for us. If anyone asks you to pay anything up front for touring, they're usually lying. Now, the album name, Promises, ended up being what we chose because of the lies that we were fed. And some of the songs that were incorporating our hatred and malice were written shortly after that. We named one song after the actual production company, and it was the song Face Down. And the entire song is literally just the anger we felt about how much he stole from us. Now, after all the pain and hardships we faced because of Facedown Productions, the only reason we were able to keep going is because of you, the fans. We've met so many great friends along the way, and there's no way we could have done any of this without you. Thank you all so much for your support you've given us this entire time. Now, after our album was finally finished, being recorded and mastered, we really wanted to push it hard, and we organized our own CD release show. And this is kind of where we did most of the work ourselves. We really went all out. We booked the venue ourselves, paid up front for the venues, booked the bands, got ourselves some sponsorships, and this is really the first time we've ever paid up front for a venue. Honestly, you fans are fantastic. All of you who showed up, we had so many of you show up along the way came all the way up from like Arizona, came over down from Idaho. Honestly, you guys are fantastic. And for the show, we also ended up printing our actual CD for it, and we printed way too many. We ended up printing 1,000, and a little ambitious, but let's just say we still have a lot of CDs left. And because of all the support from you, we were able to get ourselves on some really, really fantastic shows. We were able to get on the local stop of the Warped Tour, the Uproar Festival. We ended up going to do Rock the Falls, and we played with a lot of other big bands. We've played with 10 Years, Trapt, Royal Bliss, Makeout. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of others, but it's been 7 to 8 years since we were doing that, so you have to forgive me there. And honestly, we've made some great friends. Andrew's had a great opportunity to work with Enoch and Jared from Ilios, and we was able to get on records for Tesseract and Periphery. So unfortunately, shortly after our CD release show, a couple months, we ended up going on a hiatus for a couple years. So after our hiatus in 2014, and we got back, really kind of toying with the idea of getting back together and working on some new music. That's where we kind of ended up working with Die Alone and kind of creating the video process, actually creating the video for it, doing everything ourselves on that video. And at this time, Aaron had already moved down to Arizona, so we ended up all going down to Arizona to work on this song and work on this video. Now, sadly, this was the last song that we released as a band where we were all in the band. I wanted to bring the band together. As you know, back in 2014, we had a small hiatus, and we want to kind of talk about Lars around that time. After the first hiatus, we had a meeting at Aaron's house. We wanted to make sure there was no bad blood between all of us. So we kind of toyed with the idea at that time of the band getting back together.
If I remember correctly, Lars was playing with Allies Always Lie at the time and wanted to continue pursuing that. Soon after, we got back together anyways and started working on our single Die Alone, and soon after that, our reunion show.
We continued writing and playing shows after that. Lars soon voiced he wanted to write synth and post-pro, which is on In Denial and Die Alone, but after a few months he stopped coming to band sessions. So we asked him what was going on, and he seemed to be upset that we were taking too long to write music, release music, and play shows.
Which is true, but we were in the middle of restructuring our business plan, and we were learning how to write and produce and record our own stuff.
In 2018, Lars had chosen to leave Burn the Gallows. And when he told us, it definitely was not an easy decision for him. He let us know that he'd been spending weeks going over whether or not he really wanted to leave. And he came to the conclusion that he did, because he wanted to focus on his own side projects and focus on his songwriting.
Lars's message was a really surprising event that none of us really expected. We really respect him as an artist and as a friend and musician, and we understand the reasons behind his departure.
Yeah, Lars is one of the most hardworking, dedicated musicians you could ever have the privilege of being in a band with and working with in the music world. Practices his butt off. If he doesn't know something, he's going to work tremendously hard to go out and figure out, whether it's buying new gear, figuring out new gear, booking venues, whatever you needed him to do, he was more than happy to do it and go above and beyond. So, man, he was an integral part to making Burn the Gallows what it is. And miss you, buddy. Nothing but love and respect for Lars.
I always respected his dedication towards getting, the artwork, working on booking shows, and just being a straight up badass while on stage.
Yeah, he was always smiling on stage.
Lars really knew how to connect with people and put on a good show.
We will always see Lars as a friend and bandmate, If you're interested in checking out his new stuff, you can go either on YouTube or Facebook and check him out at Donna Eris X Enforcer.
After the departure of Lars, we just couldn't stop writing. So we kept writing, kept working on the songs we already had, and we just kept learning, kept growing as musicians. And that's kind of what you've seen with the last 2 songs of In Denial and Helpless, is where we've really grown and really matured as musicians, as artists. And it was a really early phase for us in terms of learning, and where we were really getting down how to work together as a band, really collaborate. And in this next single, Fade Away, you're going to see that, where we really know how to work together. And honestly, this song, Fade Away, is going to be a big sign of what is going to be coming from Burn the Gallows. And I'm really excited to have all of you join us on this journey. Thank you all so much for your support over the years. Honestly, we could not have done this without all of your support, with all the ups and the downs that we've had. And honestly, we are so excited to share with you what we're going to be doing in the future, what's going to be coming, because honestly, you're going to see a lot of growth with Burn the Gallows in the upcoming months and years. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you want to join the BTG Nation, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to get notified on the next video. And that's all for now. And I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of our history. And I hope to see you in our next video. Take care.